A few days ago, I went to an auction to pick up a new horse. While there were a bunch of horses I would have loved to bring home with me, there was one horse that definitely needed a little bit of a helping hand. This old mare seemed to have lost the sparkle in her eye, and she had a really distended abdomen that I was worried she may be close to foaling. The stress from traveling and being at the horse sale with a bunch of different horses had definitely taken its toll on this horse. Typically, I do not buy horses that I think are pregnant. I typically just do not have the time for them. Something about this girl spoke to me though, and I decided that I needed to bring her home with me.
Let's get going.
After doing some serious investigating on the internet, I found out this girl was born in 1998, which makes her a 26-year-old horse. For the last 12 years, this girl has been producing babies for her owner. Her most recent colt was just pulled off her side about a month ago, which could explain why she is looking so unthrifty. An older horse like her who is nursing a foal has a really high caloric need. Given her current condition, it's pretty obvious she just was not getting enough food to feed herself and her baby. Living out in a big pasture with a bunch of other horses is a pretty good life, but as these older mares age, they do require a lot of extra care that some people just aren't equipped to give them. My biggest worry with this new horse was whether or not she would survive the refeeding process because she is quite skinny. I am also really worried that she is bred back, so that would mean she was trying to feed 3 horses at once with a less than ideal diet. If she isn't full, it'll make my job of getting her healthy again a lot more difficult. Typically, an older mare like her who has been used for breeding will have a little bit of a distended abdomen just from making so many babies. I think the fact that she wasn't getting an adequate diet just made her look much, much worse. You can see here that her spine is sticking out, her ribs are visible, and her hip bones are also pretty visible. She does have a gigantic belly though. Although this mare does look extremely thin, she does have a good deal of muscle mass in her hindquarters and in her shoulders still. She actually looked a little bit better at this sale. I think she probably didn't get a lot to drink when she was there, and the other horses probably ran her off the food. So being dehydrated did not help her in the slightest. Given her current condition, I would put her at about a body score of 2. Holding up a big belly in a fit state is really tricky, but when you don't have any top line at all, it definitely can make the belly look a lot worse. Before I dive any deeper into the fact that she may indeed be pregnant, I do have to start the refeeding process.
Hey, Mama. Oh, you old girl. You okay?
Thankfully, even though this girl does not have a lot of fat on her, she is insulating really well with her coat. She also has a really good appetite and is drinking a lot of
Hey,
water.
little girl. Holy cow, Mama.
I am guessing that this horse's main problem was feeding a rather mature colt that probably was just sucking all of the nutrients she could eat. Compared to what she looked like at the sale, this girl is definitely looking a little bit brighter. She's still pretty tired and not moving very quickly at all, but I can definitely tell that she has some life left in her eyes. The first couple of days I'm dealing with a new horse like this can be extra stressful. I have a whole different protocol that I go through when I have a horse in quarantine. Since this girl is getting refed, this is the amount of food that she gets in 24 hours. She will be
Right
getting
here,
about
Mama.
a pound of hay every 4 hours. I've refed a lot of emaciated horses around her age, and she is the first one that is drinking an adequate amount of water. This girl did turn her nose up at some of the mashes I made her early on, so it's really nice to see that she's drinking enough water and that she can chew on the regular alfalfa that I'm giving her. Her manure is also looking great. Sometimes in these starved horses, they just don't have the gut bacteria to make a normal pile of manure, but hers looks really fantastic. When I was at the sale, I actually was texting my vet about a few different horses I was thinking about picking up. Thankfully, my long-standing relationship with my vet allows me to get wiggled in really quickly if they have an open spot. I do have an appointment on the book, so I am going to get her cleaned up a little bit and put in a blanket so she's nice and clean and cozy for when the vet arrives.
Hey, girl. Hey, Mama. Hey, Mama. Hello, girl. Hey, girl.
I still am really happy to see that she's producing
Hey,
normal
girl.
manure. I don't think I've ever refed a horse that has had pretty normal poop this early on in the process. While it would be super fun to have a little baby around here, I know that if this mare is pregnant, it will make her recovery very difficult. The first couple of days with these horses, I don't pester them too much. One, I don't want them spreading germs between my other horses, and two, they usually need a good deal of rest and just don't want to be poked on by humans. I did, however, want to get her cleaned up so the vet could assess her condition properly when she finally arrives. I know a lot of you guys are going to be confused about the possibility of this horse having another baby inside of her when she just got finished weaning a pretty large colt. Typically, mares that are out in a herd setting get rebred right after they foal each season, so it would not be out of the ordinary for this horse to be bred back. One thing that I did notice while I was getting this horse ready to see the vet is that she does not have normal incisors. So the front teeth that are used for grazing on this horse are not normal, and she should have been on a pretty significant amount of supplemental feed in order to make sure she could hold her condition. Thankfully for this girl, it's not really a big deal for me to bring her meals every couple of hours.
Want a snack? Hey, girl. Hey. Hey, Mama. Okay, hold on, girl.
The sale I purchased this mare from typically holds horses in pens with 20 or sometimes 30 horses in one pen. With the weather in Montana, it does produce a little bit of a slop, and she did get herself covered. It looks like she actually may have fallen down in the pen at one point. While I typically do not bathe my horses in the wintertime, I thought it was warm enough out for me to just hose this girl's legs off and get her cleaned up before the vet came. In addition to having a foal in her belly, there are also a few other things that could be causing her abdomen to be quite distended. In a normal, healthy horse, everything is moving as it should, but in a starved horse, especially one that has been exposed to a bunch of different diseases, may have a bacterial infection. There's a pretty good possibility that she has some kind of viral load. Given her age, a heart condition is not out of the question, as well as some kind of kidney disorder or some malfunction within her liver. All of these things can cause a fluid to leak into the horse's abdomen and make it look quite distended. Hopefully, when the vet gets here, she can provide me with a few answers to my questions about this horse. I am a pretty positive person, but when I get a horse like this, I try to prepare myself for the worst case scenario. Given this mare's age and her condition, it is quite possible that her distended abdomen is from a heart condition or some kind of other metabolic pathway that has gone awry because she's been without food for so long. At this point in time, really all that I can do is continue to feed her her little meals throughout the day and hope that she responds well to the refeeding process.
Hey, Mama.
When I buy one of these old horses, I'm not exactly sure how much time they'll have with me. Nigel was one of the old horses I bought with the understanding that maybe I would just have to bring them home and euthanize them. This little guy has been around now for a couple of years, so there is some hope that this mare will spring back from her condition and live for many more years. Today I will have my meeting with the vet, and I am going to prepare her a little bit extra today. I'm really nervous to hear whether or not she does have a baby in her big belly. I'm really happy with how she's been doing in the refeeding process so far. She's been eating really great and continues to want to drink a lot of water. This girl is also super kind. She hasn't done anything nasty yet. A lot of times horses in this condition can be quite grouchy. And while she does really enjoy munching on her meals, there hasn't been a time where she's done anything that would make me feel uncomfortable about handling her. There is a really good chance that she has never actually worn a blanket either, but she just continues munching away on her snacks while I get her ready for the vet. It is kind of a bummer that we did have a little bit of a rogue snowstorm the day after I bought her. Thankfully, I did just check the weather, and for the next 2 weeks, we're going to have highs during the day between 40 and 50 degrees. So it might actually be that her blanket needs to come off on a couple of those days. Even though it's only been 2 days and she is on a restricted diet, I can see her general attitude improving, and overall, she looks like she's moving around a bit better. I'm really nervous about this horse's future, but I should have some answers very shortly. When my vet got here, she did do an exam and found that this mare was having a little bit of edema along her midline. This is not uncommon when you're refeeding a horse like this, and it's something I will definitely keep an eye on. This mare was extremely sweet. We did not even have to sedate her to check her for pregnancy. My vet started off by trying to palpate for a pregnancy, which she could not find. My vet was pretty sure she was not bred, but I wanted to make as sure as possible, so I did insist on getting an ultrasound done. This would give my vet a better idea of how her uterus actually looks and other parts of the reproductive system. By using this ultrasound, she'll also be able to see if there's any other abnormalities within this horse's abdomen that are readily visible. After a long chat discussing the possibilities, my vet let me know that there was a 0% chance that this horse was actually bred. I think a tiny part of me is bummed there won't be another little baby horse here, but because she isn't bred, she'll have a much better chance of recovering from her current state. I asked my vet about pulling blood work just to triple check to make sure that there wasn't anything going on with this horse as far as pregnancy was concerned, but we decided to wait until after the refeeding process. Other than the melanomas that this girl has around her tailhead, we did not find evidence of any other disease processes going on that were of immediate concern with this horse. My vet feels that her abdomen is mostly due to the fact that she did just have a colt pulled off of her, and given her body condition, it just makes it look a whole lot worse than it actually is. Given that information, I feel a lot better about refeeding this horse. My vet agreed that her body condition was probably not due to a complete lack of feed, but just an inappropriate diet given her age and the fact that she was nursing a colt. I tried again to feed her some mash. She always takes a few little bites and then decides that the straight alfalfa is just what she likes best. While this girl is taking up a bunch of my extra time, I still have to take care of the horses I already have. So Whiplash and Ziggy did make it to the vet. Whiplash did not have to have any of his teeth pulled, and Ziggy got another float and he had one little tooth pulled.
Hey, girl.
After 5 days with me, this girl is continuing to have a really good appetite. Her body is showing some signs that she's having a little bit of trouble going back into a fed state. The edema on her midline is still there, and she is having some swelling in her hind legs. Her front legs are normal, and I finally get a look at her feet. The past couple of days, she has been too weak to even pick them up, so that is a really positive sign, even though it doesn't seem like a big deal. I want to thank you guys again for being so positive about this horse. I was really nervous about posting her online, but after her first vet visit, I'm feeling a lot more positive that she will have a full recovery. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.